Yeah. How we doing? Previously on KIMBA TV. I have a long from 1156. We got live filled, pixeled. The only place that I'm thinking about shorting is here. I have no short. So I don't know if you really think you know what I'm thinking, but do you need a recap? I don't have any shorts yet. The only place that I said I would think about shorting is the single print on CME. So that hasn't changed. This? Okay. Yeah, refreeze. We had this. We had this. We had our we had the single print. We had our EV. This was kind of it. You can hear me go, like, you shouldn't really be looking for longs. Like, this is kind of like where you would be head shorting. So if you want to long again, think about this is what you want to look at. So today is what did you pick up on this week from this box and how I identified this box. Today is basically a pop quiz about Tuesday and Wednesday. Maybe you could have tried to long here, but realistically, if you remember, like you want to be looking at this point of control. All right, big dog. And then clean the bad low, basically. Sorry, like a bank would be an amazing long if you were going to try to. So really, like after this, you shouldn't have tried to long until here. And if this doesn't work, then it's 114. And if if 114 doesn't work, then it's 111. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how we doing? Any questions? Cyrus, talk to me. Indo Lion, talk to me. Any questions? Are you still interested in S&P long? Yeah, I mean, I'm still not in it. I might just have to wait until Monday. I would love this. Again, I think that would be hilarious. Yeah, lots of bing bong ding dong though, as you guys can probably tell. Obviously, fixed range volume profile from the breakout level would give us the you know what. So right here. And then if you don't want the breakout one and you rather more this one or this one, either way, it's kind of the same, but. So you see it? Why I drew that little yellow scribble? This kind of area, right? For like a bullish retest. And then if it wants to retest the whole value, that might be a Monday long. I actually went over this yesterday and last night, if you want to kind of rewind. But yeah. Just trying to do the right thing. So that's S&P, no long yet, okay? And I might have to wait until Monday. For Biddy, we talked about Wednesday and Thursday. We talked about Head and Shoulders. We talked about EV. We talked about head short at the single print. We talked about, or we were prepared for levels to the downside for potential longs. So 117, 114, 111, that hasn't changed. The levels to the upside haven't changed. Any questions? Levels to the upside, levels to the downside. So level by level, do you remember what we said about this? Do you remember what we said about this? Higher, high, bullish retest, bounce, right? We've seen this before. We've seen this before. Right? Yeah, so it's getting pretty close to target, like mathematical stuff. So what we don't want is what we got last time. So resistance should be support. Resistance, however high it goes, should be support. So that's ETH BTC. Yes, on the daily, easy money. Nothing has changed. That's what we talked about that like last week or 2 weeks ago. All right, so now ETH beyond here. And I don't know if you were here for yesterday's stream, but do you remember what I said about if you get above here? $4,100, I mean, it should be on its way to at least be able to get 4,100. Mathematically speaking, right? As long as we're above. So, submulp. Like, talk to me. Obviously, there's no shorting altcoins, right? You can try to short altcoins, but remember what we said, what we say every day. Do not fucking lose any money shorting altcoins, right, Submulp? And I don't know about you, but like every month, I've been hoping for rate cuts. And every time I'm hoping for rate cuts, I've tried to front run rate cuts and get into altcoin longs, right? So no shorts really, only longs for altcoins. And, you know, Fibonacci levels. You understand that if it does breach the point of control or any sort of level that should have been support, that it should do it with low volume and it should not spend that much time. And we should be able to get 4,100. It's got to be test near. Six Sierra, let me know if you have any questions. I am going to be paying very close attention to the 117 level. Could be worthy of a scalp long. All right. But it is Friday. So, you know, 114 long on Monday or shorting the small pump over the weekend off of 117 on Monday would, I think, be a little bit more of a statistically easier trade. But that being said, the math is the math and the juice is the juice. And this box has been in play since Tuesday. So we have to be objective, even though I would love to get into a nice little long from 114. Got to pay attention to this 117, y'all. Shout outs to Six Sierra, man. Let me know if you have any questions. $3 million short on ETH from 3662. Hey, it's got to be test near. Don't tell Dr. Autistic now. Juicy Maguchi. That shit's gonna get cleaned, you know, so watch there, and here. For you shorters. If this was Bitcoin, I would be thinking about longing this VWAP, which is basically what the 117 is, you know? Anyways, that's Juice 6 Sierra. I don't want to say I knew, but I don't know if you noticed, but I was really trying hard to get into a long on CRV. I wanted to get filled here. So no, like I wouldn't try to chase a long like let it settle down a little bit. Wait until Monday. Yeah, because this is where we would have tried to TP on this long. So. Yeah, I mean, any of these levels, I guess, if you want to try. Can you see it? You know, that doesn't mean you're not going to have crazy wicks. You know, and then all of this is going to get... Yeah, but I missed it. This is the kind of shit, though, that I'm talking about when I say, like, we can't sit there and wait for the long just because the low isn't clean like we want, you know? Let's get nasty. All right, 18 minutes on this 30-minute candle close now. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 422 Bitcoin longing at 111,100, and then we have 477 Bitcoin at 111,000. That's kind of fucked up. Interesting. I don't know if that's good or bad, ladies and gentlemen. Who is that? I guess it depends on who it is, right? Fred says, LOL, Look, if it's Alpeasy on some 10x bullshit, I'm Gucci. If it's Mario Fibonacci on 50x, I'm not doing the long no more, right, Fred? Dude, the counter edge on open interest is already here. Yeah, now that 116,650 don't look no good. Ka-cha! Zamil says, intensifies. Math is math. I don't know. Hey, look, it's a level of interest, right? But none of us can predict if it's actually going to hold or just melt through like butter. So, you know, it is what it is. Right, Zert? Right, Dayox? You guys know what I'm looking on for a little S&P scalp. Watch this bitch go to value area low 20 minutes before market close. And I'm not going to take it again because I'm not going to get got over the weekend on some gap. You know what I mean? Gap fill, but not mine. How many of y'all been rocking and rolling with me since the beginning of the day today? Zaha says, I hope to hold 117 because of a bad entry. Well, on derivatives, it's going to go lower. Like it's gonna go to like 116.5. Are you okay with that? Like 116.6, 116.7. It'll break 117 on derivatives because it's 117 on CME. Yeah. Yeah. And then if 117 doesn't hold, you know, it's probably going to be that 114 gap. Because look, and I know you've been here, so. You see the point of control, right? Can I get a cut? Let's go! Let's get. Oh, Colin has a question. You said if the box doesn't hold, you'd be looking at naked point control of game. My question is the high quality for price to go from one point to the next if the first one doesn't hold? Nope, not really. You always want confluence. There's what I would say, the bigger answer, Colin, would be is that there's no like black and white statements that you can make like that. It all comes down to how much confluence you have. If you grabbed a single print or if you left it behind, are you going into a bull or do you have a bull or bear div when you hit the naked point of control so you have momentum and a reason to go to the other side? So it's all about being able to read the data, Colin, not memorizing. All right. A lot of times people will start out with like this idea of, hey, this looks like the price action from X. So just because they look the same, it doesn't mean that they're both the same type of bearishness. So for example, if this is scenario A and this is scenario B, and let's say that this price action looks like this. And let's say that we look at the divergences for both, okay? And this guy has a CVD divergence that looks like this. Okay, this guy looks like this. Which one is more bearish? They both look the same, but which one is more bearish? How about if this grabs all of the single prints like that, okay, this one still has single prints like this. Which one is more bearish? In this scenario, you have no longs opening here, but on this one, you have 85 million in longs opening right there. Which one is more bearish? So, like it all depends on the data. The more bearish data that you would have, the higher probability you would have to rotate from naked point of control to naked point of control. But I don't want you to confuse it with something like a value area high or a value area low rotation. So there's a difference between expecting it from going to point A to point B and saying, if point A doesn't hold, then the next place I would look to long is point B. Do you understand the difference between saying, hey, it's going to go from point A to point B versus if my long at point A doesn't work, then the next place that I would wait to long is point B. So that's what I would say, Colin. is it all kind of depends on the data. That's why like you can't memorize shit. And like I always say, you can't play this game without being able to read the data. Yeah, so there is no such thing as a naked point of control to naked point of control, like a value area high to value area low, or a value area low to value area high value rotation. There isn't a play like that. Yeah. And when it hits that naked point of control, whether it's getting rejected or getting bounced off, you would want to look at the data when it gets there to see, does it have a chance to make it all the way to the naked point of control? All right, y'all. Longers, I'm rooting for you. Shorters, I'm rooting for you. Bulls, Bears, we're all Lions. What an amazing week. We juiced the fuck up. I will be here for Sunday's CME resumption, so let's get after it. Let's play that gap. If you don't know what the gap play is, I encourage you guys to nerd out this weekend. I might poke my head in tomorrow night. We'll see. But for the most part, you guys have Power Hour coming up in about 8 minutes. HUC is going to be doing some BTCC giveaways. And I'll see you guys on Sunday. Ka-chia! Give it up for Houston, y'all. Give it up for Houston. Let's go. Let's go. The math is the math. And the juice is the juice. Have a great weekend, y'all. He reaving. Activate the manipulation.